Welcome back, friends! And shouts out to those French Montana lovers. You know who you are, Mac and Cheese 5. Holla. It is the All-Star Week, Week 17 review. And let me tell you, some records were set this week. Boy. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 records were set by 2 individual teams, 2 courtesy of the boy, and 2 courtesy of John. We'll get into that in a little bit. I beat up on Drew. This was looking like a close matchup heading into the weekend, and then my team prevailed, partly due to Drew's lineup not being set, but whatever. John stomped all over Mike, not even a competition. Tim and Tom tied, so TTT. Chris beats Jackson, and Alec pulls one out versus Sawyer. That was another close one before heading into the weekend, but Alec's team ultimately pulled it off. I had the highest field goal percentage in the league this week with 514. I also set the all-time week-long rebounds record with 460. I'll be honest, I don't remember what it was at before. I know it was in the 400s. If I had to guess, it was around like 420 or 430. But I think I blew that out of the water. Also set the double-doubles record with 21 and 3 triple-doubles to boot. No big. Not going to really get into the matchup here. And MVP's Jokic, 581 from the field, 126 points scored, 67 rebounds, 61 assists, 4 double-doubles, and 3 triple-doubles. I would have been 8-1 this week. Only would have lost to John. 2-game win streak record of 15-2-0. 2-game lead over John. 3 weeks left to go. And that being the biggest one coming up versus Tom. Meanwhile, Drew, 4-5, would have beaten Alec, Chris, and Tim and Jackson. 6-game losing streak for Drew, 3-14 in last place. Drew actually would have been pretty competitive versus most teams besides John this week. Meanwhile, Mike and John. John, highest free throw percentage in the league this week with 845, tied for the most triple-doubles with 3. John sets the all-time points record with 1,102 points. I don't think anybody had gotten within maybe 50 or 60 points of that, so he really took it. And most assists in a week with 279. I believe that record was in either the 250s or the 260s, so John really put it out there. John also had 16 double-doubles, was less than 10 turnovers away from setting the record again, which he already set early in the season. It's 120-something. But MVP for John's going to be Sabonis, 586 from the field, 94 points scored, 57 rebounds, 42 assists, 4 double-doubles, and 3 triple-doubles. You could call him a Jokic light. John would have been 9-0, all about them records, 3-game win streak, 13-4-0, 2 games out of first place, in second place by a full game. Mike, still somehow in 5th place, 7-1, only would have beaten Drew, would have tied Jackson, 1-game losing streak, record of 8-1. Tim and Tom tied. Tom had the most 3-pointers in the league this week with 121. He was only, I think, less than 10 off of setting that record as well, which is pretty crazy. I, to be honest, don't know how many threes Tom's team normally hits. I feel like Alec is usually hitting the most. John's team usually hits a decent amount. But Tom setting it off this week. Let's see. They split percentages. No. I take that back. Tim took both percentages. Tom wins points by only 18. Tom wins both steals and blocks this week, but doesn't have the most in the league in either category, which is surprising. Tim wins double-doubles, 9-8, so it's a 5-5, no MVP for ties. Tom would have been 4-3-2, only losing to myself, Alec, and John, and would have tied Tim and Sawyer. 1-game tie streak, record of 10-6-1. I believe has it's either 1.5 or 2.5 game lead over 5th place. Meanwhile, Tim would have been 3-5-1, would have beaten Mike, Jackson, and Sawyer, and tied Tom. The 1-game tie streak record of 13-11-3. Tim with the most ties in the league, 3 ties this season. Chris and Jackson, not going to get into this one. 6-4 over Chris wins. KD, 126 points scored, 39 rebounds, 26 assists, 2 double-doubles. Chris would have been 3-5-1, beating Tim, Mike, and Jackson. Tying Sawyer, 1-game win streak, 5-12-0. Meanwhile, Jackson still just hanging on in sixth place there, 0-8-1. Only would have tied Mike. 3-game losing streak record of 7-10-0, but has a half-game lead over Sawyer for that final playoff spot. Finally, down to Alec and Sawyer. This one was tied, I believe, on Saturday, but Alec pulls ahead. Sawyer had the most steals this week with 58. Alec had the most blocks with 62. Alec wins double-doubles 12-11 and has 2 triple-doubles. Nothing real. Over 100-point win by Alec. Beats Sawyer by 26 rebounds, loses an assist, whatever. Alec would have been 6-3, only would have lost to myself, John, and Drew. 2-game win streak, 12-5-0. Has, I don't know if that's a game and a half or 2.5 games over time, but yeah. Sawyer, 3-4-2, would have beaten Mike, Jackson, Drew, Ty versus Tom, and Chris. 2-game losing streak, record of 6-2-0. I need to look at these remaining schedules. Didn't do that, but MVP for Alec is going to be Wembanyama. Listen to these stats. 9 threes made, 121 points scored, 56 rebounds, 24 assists, 14 steals, and 28 blocks. That is unreal. 4 double-doubles and a triple-double. That one triple-double included a block category. 28 blocks. I've never, ever seen anything like that before. That's insane. Wemby's awesome. It's too bad you took him in the second round and can't keep him. I know I think he was being drafted. Was it the second round? Was it the third round in our league? Fourth? I feel like you took him around early and could have kept him for next year, but you can still keep him, but he's going to be your first rounder. Wemby's awesome. Player of the week, Yahoo ranked Jokic. Average was Sabonis with 23.5 points, 14.3 rebounds, and 10.5 assists. And I can't make a decision. There were 23 players, I believe, that scored over 100 points over this 14-day span. Pretty insane. Finally, matchups coming up. We got John versus Alec, a matchup that will decide who is taking second place. Me versus Tom. Sawyer versus Chris. Mike versus Drew. Tim versus Jackson. That's all I got, boys. Good luck. We got 3 weeks left. Keep churning. Only myself, John, Alec, and Tom have secured playoff spots. 5 and 6 are still available. So if you want to fight, go get it.